Hey guys, this is Sunny Fonseca with Mortgages with Sunny. Welcome to my first podcast. I'm here today with Kevin, my producer, who's going to be asking and discussing a little bit about questions that we may have. What's up, Kevin?
Nothing much.
What's poppin'?
Not much. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
You got that voice.
Yeah. I put on the podcast voice.
What's going on?
Nothing. Just ready to get this podcast launched with you.
Let's do this.
So, you want me to? Okay.
Yeah,
So,
you gotta ask, yo.
So let's talk about you. Let's give them, a little bit about your background.
Sure. So I'm born and raised in Florida. I've lived here my whole life. I've had plans of moving, but never did. I never will. I don't think so. I'm licensed all the way down from Key West all the way to the Florida Peninsula. And I'm from the 305.
So how did you get into the mortgage industry?
So back in 2007, I started in banking. And from there, I was there for about 7 years. And from there, I started learning about mortgages. I had a passion for numbers. It was just a high rush of just the fast pace, the rates, the market. It just drew me more to that. And then also too is as I started educating myself more about mortgages, this crash happens, right? In 2008. So it was just more of a rush and a thrill that I have to say, like, okay, great. What else does this industry offer? What crazy stuff does this industry offer? So from there, I developed my passion, numbers, home ownership, and just started there and took it off to the next level from there.
Okay. So how did you deal with the crash in 2008? Because that's a year after you start, right? So you started in 2007, and a year later you have the crash?
Yes, it was between 2008. I remember back then it was cubicles that we would have, like working in corporate banking. So we would see like the big timers coming in, like, okay. And it was like all the workers were like dropping off, like you out, you out. And it was like piles of boxes of papers and stuff like that. So it was like, what's going on? It was like that movie, The Wolf.
Yeah. It
was just like that. So it was just like a thrill, but at the same time, it was like so much, wow,
Scary.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
It was scary, but it was just a high at the same time,
Yeah.
So that was pretty awesome. But I survived it. I built a business out of that. I educated myself more and more from that. And I was able to educate other consumers out there for that.
What would you say is like, maybe, I guess, after that crash, obviously you built this business that you have now. What's a key thing that happened to you or to your business that you would say is when you really the business started to do well?
It was to educate the consumer. The consumers were so jaded and they were so misinformed out there. It was just like, there was so much miscommunication, and everybody wanted to get their license, right? So it was more of a thrive of educating the consumer what exactly goes behind a mortgage. What type of loan products do you really need to get yourself into? As a first-time home buyer, back then they were doing ARM loans and interest-only loans, balloon loans. It was to educate the consumer to say, these are not traditional loan products, So that just kept me going. And it was just a great thing to say, hey, hearing from the consumer, say, hey, thank you for telling me this, or thank you for educating this to me, because I didn't know, So that was more of my high.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you say, as far as like the clients you work with? Do you do more like families or commercial? What's your forte, I guess?
Because I'm such a soft heart sometimes, my clients mostly I work with families and first-time home buyers, and mostly new investors. The best feeling is to say, well, I never thought in a million years I'd be able to own a home, or with the credit I have, I don't think I could get pre-approval. I'm like, no, you can. Well, there's things out there. You just got to work on it, So that right there is just the great feeling to say, hey, these people at one point said that they couldn't afford a home. Now they can. They live in their home. They throw Christmases in their home, you know. So that's like the best feeling. Majority of that are my clients.
And that's part of the education process.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, that's why we're here.
And what's that type? What does that feel like putting somebody in their first home, like first time they close on a home and get those keys? What's that feeling like for you?
Man, I remember this. I had a client where we had to close. It was literally, I want to say, a day before Thanksgiving. She was closing. She had waited 3 months for this house, and it was only because it was new construction, not because of anything else. But
make sure you get that in there.
Right. So she had texted me, I want to say about last year, and she says, this is our second Thanksgiving in this house. She's like, thank you so much. We jumped over so many hoops. She goes, I'm here having Thanksgiving and Christmas with my family in my new home. So it's just like, wow, you know, they're texting me to say thank you.
Right.
You know, so that's just like beyond.
Yeah, that's 2 years. The second Thanksgiving. So,
Right.
so
Yeah. The first Thanksgiving was closing
Yeah.
day. The second Thanksgiving is just like my home. I'm able to host.
But it also shows, you know, with working with you, they've even, you know, after a year, they've even still thought of you to reach out and thank you. So that's pretty cool.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So like for somebody who's looking for their first home, or somebody who's maybe trying to build their, you know, real estate portfolio, what's the easiest way to get in contact with you to start working with you?
Yeah, so definitely you can reach out to me, add me on Instagram at Mortgages with Sunny. You can click on my bio. You could DM me. My contact phone number is 305-877-3451. And also look out for my YouTube channel, Mortgages with Sunny. On there, you'll hear more about the education, loan products for new investors, and things like that.
So you just mentioned the podcast, and a little bit about what we're going to talk about, but overall, what do you think people can get from you in listening to these podcasts going forward?
Definitely is education. You got to know what you're getting yourself into. And you also need to know the possibilities of loan products that are out there. There's so much out there. Don't worry about your credit score. You just got to start somewhere. I'm here to guide you. If you need to work on something, I'm here to go over that with you and put you on a plan to say, hey, if this is your goal, this is what you need to do. So definitely on that podcast, you'll hear more about education and loan products for new investors and things like that.
Awesome. And as somebody who is currently in the process of looking, I can say that you have been very helpful and taught us a lot of things about you know, mortgages and how to, you know, try to get things done. So yeah, I'm excited to do this with you, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun and very educational for people going forward. So
definitely, thank you so much. Don't forget to add me on Instagram, Mortgages with Sunny, and look out for the YouTube channel podcast at Mortgages with Sunny. Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Sunny.
Awesome.